streaming. The last video didn't go so well with an internet interruption, but I believe I was able to salvage the cut point by starting a recording. So I'm just going to record with this video, so if anything happens to this one as well, we'll be able to just upload the recorded video over to YouTube, so you can head over there to take a look. If you're here on YouTube, thank you. So we're in a classroom. This is education, as usual. Today still is today. We're talking about iodine and its relations to all kinds of different things in the body. Let me go back up to the beginning of my channel here to see what how I started this. Okay, so we know antidepressants, some, probably all of them, and fluoride, as well as some other things that I've noticed are in toothpaste now, even the ones that are supposedly supposed to be healthier solutions. We'll get to that in a little bit. So I had some new, I don't think I opened those articles yet, but or images, but I had some new developments, so that'll come in line with this video as well, because it's related. Got this, just kind of thinking about this got me searching on different things, so there's more content for this video as well. Hopefully it doesn't go too long, but so fluoride, antidepressants, tap water, they're all vasoconstrictors, right? Chlorine, they cause a reduction in blood flow, and that inherently increases your blood pressure, because there's less room for the veins, or for the blood to flow through the veins. So the pressure increases as the vessels constrict. They get smaller, right? So toothpaste causes a localized reduction in blood flow to your gums and your mouth, as well as the surrounding tissues of your face. Now, inside your head is you've got a lot of different organs there, and they control a lot of your different body functions, and they're right there, right along with the stuff that you're putting in your mouth, these drugs. Okay. Unfortunately, we've learned that fluoride causes severe persistent atrophy, even cell death, so you may have permanent impairment of some of your organs in your head. Okay? If you can learn, I'm trying to get my computer situated here. If you can learn acceptance that this has happened, you will be able to move forward. Okay? I don't know how to say that any different. That's how it goes. So just accept it, and we'll do what we can as we move forward, right? We're going to stop putting these drugs and stop exposing ourselves to these drugs, so that we can heal and get to be as good as we can be. So our teeth have mechanisms, where they release saliva, and they also heal through blood flow to the tooth itself. This is all helping the tooth remineralize and stay healthy. Okay, but if we're constricting that blood flow in that area, well, our saliva flow, that's going to remineralize the teeth. The blood flow into the dental pulp of the tooth is going to be decreased. You're not going to get as much healthy nutrition into the tooth, and it's going to degrade. It's going to biodegrade. That's where you're getting chemicals, or not chemicals, cavities. And it's related to diet as well. But I honestly wonder how impactful some of the things like sugar are when you've got reduced blood flow and all these other things going on in compound. So there's this vicious compounded thing attacking your mouth and soft tissues of your head and brain. Okay? So I started thinking about this. Well, if we're putting vasoconstrictors in our mouth, what's the antidote for a vasoconstrictor? A vasodilator. And that caused me to remember, I used to watch InfoWars like when it was kind of mainstream. I think that they're, AJ is, people. I've heard people say he's a bad dude. He's a corrupted person, and I don't know. I don't know any of those news. I don't know what they're seeing that I haven't seen. I haven't seen anything that tells me he's bad. Exactly. I mean, he makes money. Sure, he's peddling things, but we all gotta we all gotta work the corner sometimes, don't we? Make our money. That's how we get around in this society that we've got right now. Probably could have worded that better. um, the so we're our teeth basically and a lot of our head have been experienced to poisons, and we are going to do something about it. Hopefully, if we start consuming this iodine, and I'm recommending. You'll see there's some other kinds of iodine later as I keep scrolling through all these images here. These are all from the channel. I'd grab different things and try to create kind of like a stream of thought that I had, so that you kind of can take all of the threads and sew them together and create an image of what I'm presenting. That's hopefully the best way to say that. One thing I did note is that I was looking at these products. I did find that there were people who said that they were swishing it in their mouth because they seemed to be aware also that it needs to be swished around in the mouth to cause vasodilation of whatever is left of our mouth. I think that's pretty fair. We've all had our damage done. So let me see before I move forward. All right, so what you need to know, if you've got holes in your teeth, that's just a symptom of your teeth. That's kind of like the front to outward facing image of what you look like on the inside. So if you've got those problems on your teeth, there's corresponding organs and everything that's all throughout the rest of your body that's going to kind of match up in its effect as well. Okay? So those things kind of present that way. So if you don't have flawless bone or flawless dental health, then you don't. There's a good chance that your bone health, your actual bones themselves, has been just as affected by the fluoride and other toxins as well. Yeah. So I was trying to look around at different things, and there's the organs that are in our head. As we've got the thyroid, there's pituitary, there's the pineal, and the pineal is related to melatonin production. So, but as far as bone health, which teeth are bones, they're a variety of bone. They're just an exposed bone, right? And so I was, digging like what could improve my dental bone health. That's how I landed on thyroid. So I started digging on that, right? And I found this other presentation. You can search. Did I link it here? No, I didn't link it in this. It was in some other. Um, there was another video. It was mainly focused on fluoride and how we should be transitioning from fluoride to hydroxyapatite because that's what teeth are made of. Now, I'm not sure what the logic is behind brushing the teeth with teeth, but I think it had, teeth particles. It kind of seems, that's like rubbing sand on glass, isn't it? I think that the sand would do damage to the glass. So anyway, calcium carbonate, also known as pearl powder, is another way to get some mineral restoration of your bones in your body and your teeth. Okay, so if you're struggling with bone health or teeth health, that's another way to get it. I myself, I'm thinking I'm sticking to the green juice and swishing green juices in my mouth. I'm thinking that's probably going to be the best strategy in the long run because you're giving that upfront exposure to what you would normally be doing. I think normally we're supposed to be basically chewing greens all the time. Like you look at the rest of you look at the world and you enjoy the green, but you somehow have lost your programming to eat the green. Right? So I think normally we're supposed to kind of always be eating green stuff because that's what's available for the most part. And we would normally have green juices in our mouth most of the time. Okay? So just get some green juices in there, swish them around. I do think that iodine is a crucial thing because it's found in nature in like kelp and seaweed and some of the oceanic foods, the living animals or whatever you want to call them. I don't know what the hell they're called. What is it? It's in eggs as well, and like seafood. That's the word I was thinking of. Couldn't think of it. Okay, so we touched on hydroxyapatite, and then there's I hit this. This was in here as well. It was. Why did I hit this? Because is it in the follow-up images here? Yes, there it is. Okay, so I wanted to touch on, because we've got our anxiety video out there, this is kind of like a supplemental knowledge regarding anxiety and PTSD. I'm theorizing that it's potentially people experiencing PTSD could be that, maybe they went there's just different theories that I've got about how it could be triggered. One of them being detox. For instance, maybe somebody goes overseas, goes to war. They're pulled out of their typical sedative environment. Their sedative fluids, and put into a different environment where those sedatives aren't in there, right? So you take an American, you send them overseas, they're drinking water that other countries know is bad, because other countries know is bad for you, they don't have the fluoride in their water. Suddenly that person's no longer getting their dosage, their regulated doses of their sedatives. Suddenly they start to feel, right? Well, they start to feel and feel and feel and feel. Maybe they go back home. Suddenly, boom, PTSD. Because they're feeling everything from what they just went through. It would be carnage. That's why it's so bad. That's why it's so impactful, right? It could also be triggered, maybe someone is um, going through life's changes and I mean personal growth, and they learned that they need to detox from certain things, so they try a detox diet. Boom, you could have a PTSD type event related to that for sure. Absolutely, you could detox, and suddenly, what the world you perceived would significantly change, and how you perceive the world. It's like waking up like you didn't know you were asleep forever. That would be pretty significant. So I think that that's worth mentioning here. Uh, so in relation to iodine and the thyroid, um, I started looking at like what's the symptoms of hypothyroidism? Well, fatigue, weight gain. Here, look at all these. One at the bottom, depression. Hypothyroidism, depression as a symptom. Wow. Um, it's incredible that this is what's going on. So I know, for instance, me, I've got hypothyroidism, guaranteed, 100%. My thyroid is impacted by fluoride permanently. So I don't know if I can counteract that because there's been so much cell damage, but I'm hoping, given, I think in previous videos I said I stopped fluoride around 2006, but I was actually around 2012. I was getting healthier around 2006. Um, so it was actually uh, 20. My fluoride has significantly impaired my math coprocessor. What is that math? So that would be 26 years of fluoride. Not, I think I said 20 before. So, yeah. So here, what does the iodine do for anxiety? It helps with maintaining proper neurotransmitter balance. That sounds great. Let's make everything work correctly. So, yeah, nitric oxide, the previous video, combined with iodine, you, you're going to have a new you and after you've brought this on board. Okay? So, give it a shot. And stay regular. Okay, you got to stay regular with these things. You can't, um, that's just like medicine. You can't miss a dose of your greens. You can't. I see day in and day out. I've seen people who are around and they go day after day after day. They never eat anything green. Nothing. They live off mainly protein and grains. Well, it's completely devoid of vitamins and minerals for the most part. I mean, some of the protein is going to have something, but yeah. All right. So iodine with hair growth. Look at that. You can regenerate hair follicles. Did you know that if you just consume some iodine, maybe your hair will come back? It may not come back to what it was when you were younger, but it's going to help out for sure. So there you go. I was also concerned, like with anything, is there a too high amount? And it looks like there is. You can go a little bit too much, but it looks like for the most part, if you consume too much, you're just gonna pee it out. So that's not bad. It's not like titanium dioxide we mentioned in the previous video, which is not very water soluble. I think it said it wasn't water soluble at all. So when something's not water soluble, it's not going to be you're not going to get it out easily, right? You're probably going to have to use chemicals like that are found, like one of the things I know is I've heard a lot cilantro. I believe the juiced cilantro is good at pulling out chelating metals out. Now I'm not saying metals are bad, like you need copper. That's why you need copper. You do need iron, but not as much as we get in our diet. So that's why you need copper. I think copper is the one that I recommend now. There's some other stuff too, but so here you can see that this is a dentist, recommending iodine into the mouth. I think that was good. Also colloidal silver, but as alternatives, like if you really need an alternative to maintain your dental habit, um, dental ritual, whatever you want to call it, I don't need that. If my mouth is funky, uh, you can just swish some water around in there, put some lemon juice in there. It'll freshen you up. And obviously you got to get that lemon juice back off of your teeth, but you know, do something more natural. So here you go, hypothyroidism, because you ate that fluoride, or you consumed that fluoride through your tissues of your mouth. It's going to make it harder for you to lose weight. I think it goes hand in hand because of what we'll learn in a minute here, but it makes it hand in hand with also harder to gain muscle as well. So if either of those things are you can relate to, if you're someone who just has struggling to build muscle, well, chances are fluoride has impacted your organs, your brain organs, and so I'm trying to do things with iodine, and I'm looking for other vasodilators as well, but you got to be careful with those as well, because you don't want to go overboard. So here you can see metabolism is related to the thyroid hormone. Right? Let's keep going here. Let's see. Just looking at different things here. So I started digging in abnormal thyroid function, increased release of this one I thought that because there's hyperthyroidism, which also can be caused by fluoride because of like basically malformed creation during youth. It could be that the thyroid decides to kind of go into an overproductive state as well. So you can have overproduction of its, and that's where I think you can see people who, where you get into giantism, where you got somebody that just keeps growing because they're constantly producing more growth chemicals than they need, that sort of thing, Let's see. Here is the iodine database. I think I showed the fluoride list of ingredients, or the fluoride containing products. Here's something similar for iodine. The big hitters, you can see, they kind of stand out. They're in the thousands. Yeah, like salt, table salt, because they've added iodine to it, of course. So you might as well just have salt and then iodine separate. I think that's better. And then the other ones, where are they? Is that it? Yeah, there you go, seaweed. And it's kind of in sparse amounts and everything, here and there. This is in an interesting one as well here too. This is the one I haven't added this to my chat, so hopefully the video will suffice. But protein powder, which people use to build muscle, has a significant amount of iodine in it. I feel that's very interesting. So, is it the protein that's helping them build the muscle? Or is it the iodine that's in there that's kind of helping restore their function, making it better and easier for them to grow muscle? I think you know. So yeah, this was the other thing I did. So I started taking iodine, and I didn't have detox effect. I did see a video out there while I was researching things about how somebody had a pretty profound detox effect. I didn't experience that, but I did experience improved eyesight, and that is wonderful. I believe that during um, youth, while you're growing up, you could have deformed generation of your eyes as a result of iodine deficiency and or um, degeneration from the fluoride exposure. Um, Repeated, and there's other nutritional things, like I know caffeine in particular, it can trigger. That's why like a lot of people you see drink caffeine and then suddenly their eyes get bloodshot. Well, it's because it's a vasodilator, but it's a kind of a wonky one, and it seems sort of targeted, but it does affect the eyes and eyesight. It degrades eyesight. So, like if you're in the gaming community, you gotta watch out. I think for drinking too many energy drinks. There's a lot of other garbage in there. That's why they call them, what are they called? Nails, coffin nails, and death or whatever. They're called that for a reason. So, but yeah, put some iodine in there in your water and give that a drink for a while. You should notice visual improvements. I'm not saying it's going to get back to perfect, but I believe most of our body has an ability to regenerate significantly. It depends, I believe, also on how significant the fluoride damage has been. Um, you have DNA and you have your backup RNA. So if the fluoride has damaged your RNA, when you go to regenerate, it's going to have something to. If the RNA has been damaged, then it's going to generate something, but it may not be correct, unfortunately. So you might just be kind of stuck with what you got. But keep trying. I think it's worth trying because maybe your body will. Maybe we can get the. Well, we'll get to that in a bit, but maybe the growth hormones can help if we can get to that stage. So I started looking at, why is my thyroid impacted? And I learned that the pituitary gland is the one that's controlling that. And so I said, well, if my thyroid isn't working, then also my pituitary is also impacted. Now, okay. So malfunctioning pituitary gland, headaches, or problems with vision. There you go. Right? You can have fatigue and sexual dysfunction. And you can get weight. These are all things from malfunctioning pituitary. So, yep, I've got an impaired pituitary gland as well. So there's just documenting what I said there. I found this interesting how how fluoride affects the pituitary gland. That's what I was kind of looking for, and it certainly does. It's interesting how this article has this image. It looks like somebody who's going through depression to me. Let's see. Exactly. So there you go. It causes hormone imbalances. So everything's not working right inside you when you got fluoride. So at least, you got to get the fluoride to stop. Stop doing that. There you go. I was digging on different, what these different chemicals were. So there you go. You've got metabolism. And here you can see the regulation. These hormones are directly related to the regulation, the regulating of how your body burns calories. So, confirmed. We have confirmed officially metabolism is significantly impacted by fluoride. So I started digging on fasting. I did do a fast for 5 days. I've done it twice, and both times I did feel better afterwards. However, I did not do fasting with iodine, so that's a future thing that I'm going to try. I wanted to get myself on iodine for a minimum of 30 days and then maybe try it again, but I might kind of like stick with iodine for 6 months to a year before I try it again. I was a little disappointed with, um, well, um, my experience with fasting. I was hoping for something a little bit more impactful on my body, and I may get there, and I hope you do too. But with hormones, um, fasting can help us improve our body's performance because it stops wasting energy on food and starts kind of working towards repair. Okay. And so what I was looking for is I didn't really feel like I had the human growth hormone impact from my fast, and um, I was wondering why would that would be, and that's how I kind of started digging deeper into the pituitary gland because it's the one that produces it. Um, so if you're looking for bone regrowth or bone regeneration, muscle development, these things are done through the pituitary. So you need to work on the pituitary gland as well for yourself. Now, the iodine is helpful, but I believe the pituitary gland. I might need to do a follow-up video, but because I think the pituitary doesn't function the same. Like the iodine doesn't leverage iodine as well, or the same way. I think it's kind of leverages. I think I can't remember. I feel like it's tryptophan. So eat some chicken and turkey, I think, is the one that's related to this. Don't quote me on that right now, so I don't know for sure. But I did want to put here how you can see, and I just added these so you can see how close in relation to the mouth where you're putting that fluoride. You're getting it all the way up into these back gums up here, right? So you've got it within inches of your glands in your head, right? See, you've got your pituitary gland, you've got your pineal gland, all these things are right there. And then down here is your thyroid. And that's probably, when you've got fluoride that maybe is residue or whatever that's left over in your mouth, then it comes down from swallowing. Whatever is going down that way, it's impacting your thyroid down in your, because it's kind of down here, So, one thing I put in this channel, I felt like it was relevant to mention because doing iodine, it improves the performance of your filtration organs. So you're going to see improved liver performance. You're going to see improved kidney performance. So you're going to be detoxing, right? Right? Well, what does detox look like? Well, it's a lot like, it's related to anxiety for sure. You could have an anxiety reaction when you start to take it, definitely. Okay. But otherwise, you need to know what a Herxheimer's reaction is, and there's the JHR is the person's name, but I just call it a Herxheimer's reaction because it's easy to remember. But here are the symptoms of Herxheimer's. You got fever, chills, nausea, vomiting, headache, right? Look at all these. Look at all these, right? Now, let's look at these. So here's what you've commonly known as the flu, right? You've got fever, chills, blah, 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 headaches, fatigue, right? So you're thinking, whenever you've been living through your life and you go, I've got a cold, I've got the flu. Well, no. you did have dis-ease because of the poisons that your body was taking care of. So you could have been experiencing an acute exposure, or processing the chronic long-term exposure and through a detox, right? So know that a Herxheimer's reaction and the flu are one and the same thing. That's what you're supposed to know. Okay? This is kind of the end here, but iodine, it's particularly essential for the central nervous system, and we know those sedatives are particularly toxic for the central nervous system. So I think we're kind of looking at an antidote, but don't quote me on it, of course. But and also, I should give you the doses. I did see a video that said, we need 125 micrograms, but the author, which was Dr. Eric Berg, I watch quite a few of his videos, but he said, over in Japan, where they eat a lot of seaweed, they have diets that contain up to 12,500 micrograms, and they're virtually cancer-free over there. So it's like it's a pretty significant difference. So you've got some wiggle room there for sure with how much you can consume. So I'm at the I'm trying to go up towards the higher end to see how it goes. And that's I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, didn't mention it. Okay, let me get to. No, that's not it. There was more. Where did I put that? Here. So one thing I did want to mention was I found an article. Here, I'll put it up on the screen here. This article, and it talks about how nightshades, which contain capsaicin, specifically peppers, they cause inflammation, but the actual persistent effect through different this TRPV1 channel, actually seems to have a vasoconstrictive effect. So even though it causes heat, and you'd think that it would be causing inflammation and drawing blood to the area, it's not. Right? It's not. So when you're eating peppers or spicy things, it's actually having an opposite effect of what you're thinking, probably. I just wanted to let people know that. And why is because I'm trying to figure out why we've got fluoride, chlorine. These are both vasoconstrictors. We've got capsaicin as a vasoconstrictor. Now, that one's not exactly related to the mouth, but fluoride and chlorine are, and they're targeting the mouth and the central nervous system. Now, I found in some of the newer toothpaste companies that are out there, I was looking around, and they're, the ones that have like hydroxyapatite in them, and I was like, okay, well, so these must be the good versions. And looking at their toothpaste products, looking at the ingredients, I found the common ingredient in them is to a newer common ingredient that I've seen in the existing industry with fluoride, and they've been adding xylitol. And so I started digging on xylitol, and it got me thinking. So this image I found sort of unrelated, but maybe you're somebody who has nasal congestion, so you should know these things are vasoconstrictors, right? So anytime you're putting, these things into your nose, well, let's go back to here. You're putting stuff in here now. That's a vasoconstrictor. You've got vasoconstrictors affecting this entire area, right? So you've got decreased blood flow. Well, your brain is right there. So we're getting decreased blood flow to all of this stuff in the area. Okay? Be careful. That's what I'm saying. So that's kind of what I was thinking about, and I'm like, so I kept seeing this xylitol, and I'm like, why are they putting this in there? There's got to be another reason. And so what I found, let me see if I can just link these up here. I looked at, is vasodilation inflammation. So they're one and the same. It assists it. Okay. And I said, okay, so if vasodilation is inflammation, or aids in the creation of, so then you can say vasoconstriction aids in anti-inflammatories. So the reason I was digging that way is because I found this first, but I couldn't find anything linking xylitol to being a vasoconstrictor. But because of what I had learned about vasodilators, you have to assume that because it's an anti-inflammatory, it's a vasoconstrictor, because vasodilators are inflammatory. So they need to inherently be the opposite. So xylitol, just like fluoride and chlorine, are another vasoconstrictor affecting the mouth in these toothpastes. Even the supposedly new toothpastes, they're going to be cutting down and restricting the blood flow to this area. They're going to be impacting your teeth. So you might be brushing your teeth with potentially the thing that the teeth need to regenerate. Maybe. I still think that we should practice nutrition with eating the juices and the green juices that we need to, wash all over the teeth to regenerate them. Maybe the hydroxyapatite has an impact on it, but I also think that this, having these vasoconstrictors in there is a target on the teeth. They're targeting your health by doing so. So just be careful out there. I think that ends this video. Thanks.